Sawasdee krab, good morning, and thank you for joining us on Newsline, broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and NBT World. Today is Sunday, February 21st, and you're with me, Suraphalaw Tharanarit. Let's begin with today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has asked members of the public to do good on the auspicious occasion of Makha Bucha Day. In its national televised address, the Thai Premier cited a Buddhist teaching which goes, performing virtuous deeds, refraining from immorality, and having a pure soul, while asking all Buddhist Thais to use the teaching as a guiding way for a happier life. Makha Bucha Day will be celebrated on February 22nd this year. He also invited the Thai people to pledge their vows to commit virtuous deeds, have noble intentions, and maintain the 5 Buddhist precepts as a blessed offering to commemorate 2 other auspicious occasions, which are the 70th anniversary of His Majesty the King's accession to the throne this year, and the 7th cycle or 84th birthday anniversary of Her Majesty the Queen. The Prime Minister said he had addressed a number of issues at the ASEAN-US Summit in California. During Retreat 1 of the ASEAN-US Summit, which was held under the topic of building regional security through innovation and business ties, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha said country leaders had talked about enhancing the well-being of the people for the mutual growth and benefit of every nation. He said the meeting had agreed that it was essential to take into consideration the differences in economic and social statuses of the ASEAN countries and the United States, and that both sides must seek each other's cooperation through economic partnership. In terms of security, General Prayut said he told the summit that tensions, both in the South China Sea and on the Korean Peninsula, were delicate issues in which trust needed to be cultivated and new cooperative efforts needed to be established. According to him, he had also asked other ASEAN nations to push for stronger cooperation in the fight against haze and smoke, while pledging that the Thai government would limit the number of burning activities in the country. The Prime Minister has kicked off the Strengthening the Grassroots Economy with a Civil State Philosophy project to raise awareness on efficient use of state funds for supporting local economies. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has opened a working meeting to publicize the government's civil state approach to enhancing the grassroots economy. The aim of the meeting is to disseminate information on the project to aid communities and villages for more efficiency in utilizing state funds. The project follows the disbursement of 35 billion baht from the central budget to over 79,000 village funds across the nation. The funds have been approved for basic development projects proposed by villages with the intention of enhancing residents' livelihoods. President of the National Village and Urban Community Fund, Suwapan Tanyuwatana, elaborated that supporting the grassroots economy will provide support for local livelihoods. He made known that 245,000 volunteer civil state workers have been dispatched to drive the government's project to success. Village Fund representatives present at the meeting took part in swearing an oath to utilize their funds transparently and for the benefit of the nation's citizens and economy in a sustainable manner. Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu Keruengam said the draft constitution will not make everyone satisfied, and that the first 13 suggestions proposed by the government will improve the draft law. After the Constitution Drafting Committee, or CDC, considered all the 16 proposals, it would not be necessary for the CDC to send back the revised draft to the government, Mr. Wisanu said. He insisted that the proposals were from the government, not the National Council for Peace and Order, or NCPO. Most cabinet ministers who offered their ideas are not members of the NCPO. He also brushed aside media speculation that the NCPO could be giving indirect orders to the CDC. He said the NCPO can just hold talks with the CDC. The Deputy Prime Minister said the suggestions offered by the government would ensure that the draft constitution would stay in line with this roadmap. For instance, the suggestions would add more rights and freedoms while preventing recurring problems. CDC spokesman Udomrat Amarit said all suggestions and recommendations given to the charter drafters by the public, various agencies and organizations are weighted equally. Mr. Udom said the committee will look into each idea and see whether they serve the country's best interests. The head of the Constitution Drafting Commission, or CDC, has affirmed that the body is working without influence and within the framework set by the interim constitution. CDC Chairman Michai Ruchupan, addressing staff at the Royal Thai Army headquarters on the details of the draft charter, pointed out that in the new document, senators will not have to be aligned with any particular political party and will be selected in an indirect manner. He explained that the new approach is to allow more members of the public to be able to take part in the nation's politics. He also clarified that the Prime Minister will be selected from 3 names to be proposed by the leading party and will not have to be a member of Parliament, as in such a system, MPs would have yet to be elected at that point. On vote buying, the CDC head said the Election Commission must be enhanced with powers, such as the ability to suspend candidates suspected of electoral fraud. Such candidates, if found by a court to have violated the election law, will be banned for life from politics. He noted that measures must also be taken to ensure unity under the Constitution, which he led on has been dubbed the anti-cheating charter. Mr. Michai also took the opportunity to assure that the CDC's work is free from influence and within the framework of the interim constitution. Interior Minister General Anupong Jinda has urged that government officials put the public's interests before their own. His comment came during a visit to the northern province of Chiang Mai. The Interior Minister met with local authorities, village headmen, and community leaders from 17 provinces at the International Convention and Exhibition Center commemorating His Majesty's 7th cycle birthday anniversary, also known as the Chiang Mai International Convention and Exhibition Center. General Anupong asked them to best carry out their given duties, ensure efficiency in their work, and help solve people's problems. He said local officials should always try to maximize the benefits of the people, as well as improve the well-being of the people in their respective areas. He also instructed them to keep all tourist destinations clean, maintain order in every community, and crack down on all illegal activities. The Royal Thai government, through its Command Center for Combating Illegal Fishing, or CCCIF, is implementing various measures to prevent and crack down on illegal, unreported, and unregulated, or IUU fishing in Thai waters. Here's a special report from the CCCIF.
Do you know where the seafood products that you eat come from, where the raw material was produced, and how it was processed before it lands on your plate? The traceability system is an important system according to the rules under which countries around the world, including Thailand, must use to investigate the source of those food products. It tells the origin of the fishing location, fishing boats used, the day the fish was caught, which is an important measure to control that the fish product is free from IUU fishing. Currently, Thailand has developed a traceability system that includes increasing a number of technical staffs to monitor, survey, and control fishing vessels. Department of Fisheries and Customs Department have signed the MOU to jointly develop a system to link the fishing vessels' information, permit for imports and exports through the National Single Window System for controlling and monitoring of fishery products. Development of fishing information such as logbook, port in port out data, and online database for VMS data from each fishing vessel. Increase more port for monitoring foreign fishing vessels and importing of aquatic animals from abroad. Apply port state measures of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization or FAO.
ให้ย้อนกลับได้ถึงแหล่งที่มาและที่ไปสุดท้ายของสินค้านะคะก็จะเป็นความเชื่อถือและไว้วางใจในสินค้าของประเทศไทย
The development of an effective traceability system is not only for the safety of consumers, but is another significant part as it encourages sustainability of marine resources on the seas of Thailand, raises confidence of foreign partners, and raises the standard of Thai fishery sector to be equivalent to the international standards required.
Uthai Thani province is gearing up for the upcoming visit of the Thai Premier, who will be following up on the province's land reform plan. Uthai Thani Governor Prapat Malakan convened a meeting with provincial authorities to go over the preparation, including security measures for Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha's visit on February 26th. The Prime Minister will be inspecting the progress of the land allocation effort in the province. The land reform plan has been implemented in compliance with the government's land allocation policy, which seeks to eradicate forced encroachment by the local people. 5 rai, or around 800 square meters of land, is granted to cooperatives so as to allow their members to generate income without having to encroach upon unauthorized areas. Police officers will be dropping in on retailers, bars, restaurants, and other venues to prevent alcohol sales on the national Buddhist holiday of Makha Bucha. The Royal Thai Police will be enforcing alcohol bans on Makha Bucha Day. Officers will patrol entertainment venues, bus terminals, train stations, and gas stations to make sure the law is not violated. Violators will face a fine of no more than 10,000 baht, or no more than 6 months imprisonment, or both. In addition, officers will set up checkpoints in various locations from 12 a.m. on February 21st until 12 a.m. on February 22nd to prevent driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Makha Bucha is an important Buddhist festival celebrated on the full moon day. The spiritual aims of the day are to do good deeds, not to commit any kind of sins, and purify one's mind. The Chiang Mai Zoo has recently debuted a newborn albino deer, and it is giving the public the chance to name him. The baby albino deer was born on February 4th. He is sired by albino deer Kun Put and is a grandson of Kun Pet, the albino deer royally given to the Chiang Mai Zoo by Her Majesty the Queen in 2009. Albino deer are protected by the Wildlife Conservation and Protection Act 1992. The newborn's birth is regarded as a success of the Chiang Mai Zoo, since the likelihood of breeding an albino deer is extremely low. The zoo is holding a naming competition for the baby deer, which is now on display. The winner will get 2,000 baht in prize money and 1 year free entrance to the zoo. And that's all for today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. Before we take a quick break, here's a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
Pad Thai has been famous since World War II. Noodles are made from rice. The same grain used for rice with barbecue pork, rice with chicken, and crispy rice. The sauce is made from a mixture of tamarind. Locals believe the tamarind tree is holy and use it to ward off evil spirits such as the flying ghost, the glowing ghost, also Dracula. Pad Thai is not complete without dry shrimps. Good dry shrimps come from the south of Thailand, which is known for a beautiful coral reef, white sand, and sunshine. If you prefer authenticity, try having it with banana blossoms. Banana tree trunks are also used for the Loi Krathong festival and also for practicing Muay Thai. This is the story of Pad Thai. There are thousands of other stories to discover. Discover your amazing stories in amazing Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. A new Japanese automobile company recently came to Thailand in a determined bid to make electric cars available and affordable to much of the Thai and ASEAN markets by next year. Khun Panot Sinsap has his story.
It is powered purely by its battery, and it can carry you over both land and water for a maximum distance of 150 kilometers per full charge. And that's a top speed of 85 km per hour. This agile new vehicle will be available in Thailand in the later half of next year with a price tag estimated at 300,000 baht. Prior to make it available on Thai roads, Japanese automobile maker and the initiator of this electric car, Foam Corporation, came to Thammasat University to co-research and develop this car as one particularly suitable for the region's road and temperatures.
I see that the demand for cars in the ASEAN region will continue to grow much greater in the future, and Thailand's location at the center of the region is strategically great as a production hub.
The industry vice minister and the Thammasat University rector also expressed appreciation for the collaboration. It means that local researchers will be able to provide the best answers as to what the company needs to do in the future.
Foam will give this car to SIIT for a year to test run. This gives us the opportunity for the institute to do more research on electric vehicles, fine-tune it, make it more efficient, make it suitable for the region's tropical climate. So this MOU is very important to us.
I think that if we cooperate with private sector, that can help that our professor and our researcher can have the experience outside Thammasat University and help them to make the real thing, the real sector in the private sector also.
After 1 year, the company plans to start its production run. While the car can be charged at home, wider infrastructure is also necessary for the electric car to succeed. Bangchak Petroleum has decided to join in as well.
Anyway, we have to change to EV car. At the last, we have to exercise with this new EV car. So we propose our gas station for the driver to charge their battery and in our gas station. You can just drive the car into our gas station and then recharge your battery. Another type is when the battery is maybe obsolete and maybe have some new technology of the battery that is better than the last one. They can drive into our gas station and make an exchange to replace the old one with a new one.
In a year from now, researchers expect that many ordinary citizens will be able to afford a purely electric car, as it will no longer be just a dream or something only the wealthy few can afford. It will be on our roads and very much part of the automotive scene in the Southeast Asia. ปนศรีสินทรัพย์ NBT1
Moving on to the international news, British Prime Minister David Cameron yesterday said he would hold a referendum on Britain's membership of the European Union on June 23rd. Cameron, speaking outside his number 10 Downing Street residence, clinched a deal with other European Union leaders at a summit in Brussels, which he hopes will keep the country in the bloc that Britain joined in 1973. He met his cabinet on Saturday morning, which agreed that the government's position would be to recommend that Britain remains in the EU. Cameron hailed a deal clinched with other European Union leaders as granting Britain special status and said he would campaign hard to convince voters to stay in the EU. The legally binding agreement reached in Brussels late on Friday granted Britain an explicit exemption from the founding goal of ever closer union, offered concessions on the welfare rights of migrant workers, and safeguards for the City of London. A British exit from the EU would rock the Union, already shaken by differences over migration and the future of the Eurozone, by ripping away its second-largest economy, one of its top two military powers, and by far its richest financial center. Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton beat back a strong challenge from Bernie Sanders in the Nevada caucuses on Saturday, a result that could help calm worries about the strength of her campaign. With 72% of the precincts reporting, Clinton was leading with 52.3% of the vote to Sanders' 47.6%. Television networks Fox News and MSNBC projected Clinton would win. Vote counting was delayed in Nevada by heavy turnout. Sanders' strong performance in a state with a heavy minority population, where Clinton was once expected to win by double digits, suggested that the Democratic nominating race could be long and hard-fought. But Clinton's victory buoyed worried supporters and gave her fresh momentum as she heads into the next contest in South Carolina on February 27th, where polls show her with a double-digit lead, largely as a result of heavy support from black voters. After routing Clinton in New Hampshire and finishing a strong second in Iowa, states with nearly all-white populations, Nevada gave Sanders his first chance to prove he can win over black and Hispanic voters and compete nationally as the race moves to states with more diverse populations. Republicans in South Carolina also were voting on Saturday in the state-by-state contest to pick nominees for the November 8th election, with opinion polls showing frontrunner Donald Trump trying to solidify his spot at the top of the pack, and rivals Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio fighting for a second-place finish. An Australian dog trainer and former surfing champion has taken to the waves with his rescue dogs to use the discipline of surfing as a way of teaching owners to build healthy relationships with man's best friend. On a sunny morning in Palm Beach in Sydney, Chris de Boitis heads out on the waves on his stand-up paddleboard, joined by Rama and Millie, two dogs he rescued from a shelter. His dogs perform tricks, jumping on his shoulders and back as he rides the waves. The Sunshine Coast dog trainer, who is a former world tandem surfing champion, has been hitting the waves with his dogs for around 10 years and has since taken to using the sport as a method of teaching people to understand their dogs. A Baptist travels up and down the Australian east coast with his 4 dogs, all rescued from shelters, using this unique method to teach owners and encourage them to take a more disciplined approach to their pets. He told Reuters that he finds people will sometimes choose euthanasia and give their pets away because they become too much hassle and they don't have control over them. Abortis said he has had a positive response from dog owners, some of whom had taken to the waves with him, while others have embraced his training but stuck to land. Before we say goodbye, here's a quick announcement. The Thai National Committee on Irrigation and Drainage is inviting members of the public to take part in a slogan contest under the theme of Water Management in a Changing World, Role of Irrigation for Sustainable Food Production. The slogan must be in both Thai and English and shall be sent to sloganwif2016@gmail.com no later than February 24th, 2016. The winner will be announced on February 29th and will receive 20,000 baht in prize money along with a certificate. For more information, please visit worldwideweb.rid.go.th/ThaiCID/. And that's it for now. And for any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook or visit our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. And for now, we're going to say goodbye with a scene from the mass wedding for 3,000 couples from 62 countries in South Korea. And I'm Surapat Lautharanarit. Thank you for your company and have a great day. สวัสดีครับ